Ethereum, yeah, on the 2-day time frame has already taken out the high. How about the daily? How do we close the daily? Wow. Like, it doesn't get neater than this. Hey guys, Krisha here. Please be cautious of any fake comments and emails you may receive from people pretending to be Mango Research. Sean and I will never, ever contact you for investment opportunities or anything of that sort. To get in touch with the real Mango team, make sure to join our official Discord chat using the link in the description below. Stay safe out there. And remember, do it Mango. And what's up, you guys? Welcome to the Mango Grove. My name is Krisha, and this is today's Bitcoin and Ethereum analysis video. I have Sean with me today. Sean, say hi.
Good morning, everyone, and a happy weekend to all of you.
That's right, it's the weekend, so we're gonna try and keep this to the point. Now, of course, on today's agenda, we'll be talking about this beautiful dashboard, what Bitcoin is doing on the dashboard as far as that trend is concerned, as well as Ethereum, and only then will we be moving on over to the charts. Now there's a lot that's unfolding. We have some important candle closes that's coming up by the end of the week, so we'll be going over that and what Mango is essentially looking for in order for us to really anticipate that bullish continuation, or hell, maybe even a pullback, who knows. So we'll be going over the charts, and only then will we be panning on over to Ethereum. Okay, so if you're in a hurry, I will be including timestamps below. Cool beans?
Cool beans.
Cool beans. Alrighty. Now, guys, remember, if you want us to cover any of the altcoins that you are looking at, take this time to get down to the comments section and tell us which altcoin you want us to cover. The popular vote, of course, wins. Now, Sean, Mango Dashboard, Bitcoin USDT. First off, Dixie's up. That's interesting. Bitcoin USDT is still long. We're still in that bullish trend, and I couldn't agree more. I think there's a minor pullback, but the daily, I think, is still looking pretty decent. Now, guys, this bullish long trend change came to us 18 days ago. If you managed to catch a trade on this, you're up a good 24%. All right. As far as Ethereum is concerned, Ethereum also gave us that bullish long trend change once again 18 days ago. However, if you caught a trade on this, you're up 44%, Sean.
Indeed. But hey, look at Cardano. I told you guys, be patient. The patience paid off on that one. 63%. It not only has caught up to Ethereum and Bitcoin, but has now surpassed it. That great bounce off the bottom of the dynamic on the USD order. But today's video is about Ethereum, so let's stick on topic.
Yeah, also Cardano fanboys and fangirls. I mean, we'd love to cover Cardano in the next video, so show up and tell us that you want us to cover Cardano in the next video. It'll be freaking fun to dissect. 63% is no joke. Now, let's get on over to the chart, Sean. Let's see what Bitcoin's up to. Right, and here we are, Bitcoin on the daily time frame. Now, this was that beautiful candle that we got yesterday, which pretty much undid all of that 3-day sell-off that we saw prior to, right? And that was a pretty, significant, pretty diabolical move when it happened. I was awake, and I remember waking Sean up. I'm like, Sean, check it out, Bitcoin. Moving at 47K. Now, personally, Sean, I think that we are still in that zone of resistance that we had marked out for them before, which came in from that $46,000 region going all the way up to around 48.5K. What are your thoughts on the current picture? Do you think that this is resistance? Where do you think we are?
Okay, so what I'm doing is, considering it is the weekend and we do have some important candle closes coming up, I don't want to pay too much attention to the daily time frame. Yes, we did get that great candle. Now, as a guy who is long right now in a trend trade, I do want to look at this and feel good about this, right? But at the same time, I have to put things into context. We are closing a weekly soon, and the day after that we are closing a 4-day candle. If you do keep an eye on the 4-day the way I am, you wouldn't be too surprised by this move, because the 4-day was looking good. It was threatening to take out the high, and as soon as we tested that high and even ticked us slightly above it, I was looking for that immediate continuation towards the upside, right? It is a your typical, or rather classic, continuation play right over there, and we did see that. That being said, the weekly at the moment is important to keep an eye on, because we do have resistance right overhead coming in on that Tenkin. And Krisha, at the moment, you can see that we are actually holding underneath it, right? Price is being rejected off it. We lived above it to the top of your green box territory, actually, and didn't really manage to hold that price for too long, at least in the context of the weekly time frame. So the big question now is, do we hold, or rather do we close above that weekly Tenkin in around a day and 10 hours, or do we close underneath it? So simply waiting for that, and then after that, the 4-day time frame, closing the day after that. Do we come back down, put in a higher low? Because we are yet to do that, Krisha. At the moment, we're just making new highs on the 4-day time frame for that trend continuation, but yeah, nothing to get excited about just yet.
Yeah, I agree. So we closed this, when do we close this candle? The weekly. So I believe it's been, in about 24 hours, because today is a Saturday. Now, as far as I'm concerned, I think that, even if we get that daily close, depending on where the daily closes tomorrow, I think that's going to be your first tell. Okay, and what it is that I'm looking at on the daily, if I just quickly pan on over to that, you'll notice that just price relative to that Ichimoku cloud, first off, the base of that green box territory that we have been, marking out for you now for days on end, that lines up with the top of the cloud right there. You can see that the last daily close, which was yesterday, we closed over the cloud, okay, and inside that green box resistance territory that we have. So far, Sean, this is seeming like a retest, okay? And I'm going to use the word seeming because, of course, we have yet to close this candle, right? Now, Sean just showed you guys that the bottom of the green box territory also lines up with a weekly Tenkin. Us closing below the green box territory, essentially losing that region, would also imply us actually getting back into the cloud.
Yeah.
Right? Which could also then sort of trigger, could possibly trigger another sort of move to the downside, possibly coming down here to around $45,000 once again, right? And if that plays out, then you know what? I will be expecting the weekly to close underneath the Tenkin. However, if the bulls manage to pick this baby back up to close inside the green box territory, once again defending that region of support, then perhaps, you know what, the weekly could be in line for a close over the Tenkin.
Yep, no, that's actually a really, really good analysis. So long story short, what Krisha is saying is that if today's candle close, today being the Saturday, closes above the cloud, then we are likely going to get a weekly candle close above the Tenkin. So this is multi-time frame analysis at its simplest, guys. If we close a daily above the cloud, we close the weekly, or rather we are likely to see a candle close above the weekly Tenkin. So daily above the cloud leads to a likely candle close above the weekly Tenkin.
Yeah, I also want to go ahead and check out, so the last time we checked out the Mango Dynamic, Sean, it was bullish, right? The tempo went off as well. I've been trading that, and it's been working out freaking.
There you go.
Yeah,
She's a convert.
And so we saw that, okay, you know what, we were neutral over here, which makes sense because this is a trend trading system, and it wants to give you the meat of those trades as well as get you into the trend when the trend begins, right? We can see that, yes, we turned bullish right here. The tempo, okay, now this is where I'm looking at the tempo. The tempo gave us that bullish signal saying that, okay, you know what, the bulls are picking up that momentum. Right, and this candle right here, funny enough, Sean, day before yesterday, or no, it was yesterday, we actually did a video, and I said that, hey, you know what, if price actually manages to climb up over the halfway point, and that's why I have that line segment drawn out here, that was the halfway point, right, and we close somewhere over that, then you know what, the bulls might just pick this baby up. And what do you know, like, it just happened so aggressively right after that. We were looking at the 4-hour time frame at the time. We got that, okay, and you can see that the tempo has gone off again, and you know what, I do agree with this. With this candle alone, the fact that it, undid 3 days worth of price action, right? That was powerful. Exactly. That was a tell. So I wouldn't be surprised if this current candle actually manages to defend the top of the cloud.
You guys should go back and watch the video from a couple of days ago where Krisha and I were discussing the structure over here on the daily time frame in context of the 4-hour time frame as well. I'm going to go ahead and quickly pull it up, and we were looking at this neckline over here of this bearish structure, right? And Krisha, this M-like formation, right? Do you remember us talking about it?
We were saying.
And you asked me, hey, if we put in a low high over here, what do you think is going to happen? Do we put in a falling channel? And I was like, nope. If we put in a low high over here, we're going to come down. So it was imperative that if we come in over here, we see that continuation, right? The bulls were looking for that because we don't want to see this come back down over here because that would be extremely bearish. But hey, what do you know? We did not put in a low high. We saw continuation instead. If we got rejected over here, that would have been actually a bear trade in my eyes. But we didn't do that. We saw continuation. And guys, over here, yet again, you are seeing another trappy structure over here, right? You had your M-like formation, very, very easy to read, where you got the breakdown. And what do you see over here? Right, accumulation of all that liquidity, all the short traders coming in to look for that big move towards the downside because a neckline broken. This is your distribution. They probably even saw bearish divergence over here on the 4-hour, on the daily, you name it. But what happens instead? Boom, all that liquidity given to the bulls. Thank you for your buys, or rather your sells into my buys, and then continuation towards the upside. And instead you see all of those cells over here, right? So this is where, by the way, guys, the order flow liquidity module is going to be really, really important. So use this in conjunction with that module, and you guys will be able to really become powerful traders because, hey, you're seeing it all play out right over here. This entire zone, right, was a zone for traders. This was the zone to be learning. This is the zone that will make you a strong trader for the years to come.
Yeah, that order flow and the institutional order flow module it helped me tremendously and actually keeping me safe during these kind of ranges, these sort of fake up ranges, right? Because now you're sort of privy to it and you understand what is happening there.
Yeah.
So that's also very, very key in really understanding how to play it and how to be safe while playing it. Now, as far as price action on the 4-hour, you're right. In fact, when you were just, before you had mentioned it, I was just thinking, I'm like, man, this was such a chop. So I personally, Sean, I'm keeping it on the higher levels to avoid this.
Exactly, that's the easiest way to do it.
It's the easiest way to do it, and it's been working out so far. So I'll be sticking to the daily, honestly, and I'll be looking for the next daily close. We defend the cloud. I'm saying, you know what, the bulls still have control. We're likely going to start testing these highs once again, and possibly the top of the green box territory, which comes in at around 48,500. However, if we lose the green box territory, then I'll be looking for price to come back down to around $45,000. Do we have a C-SPAN trade somewhere? Let's go ahead and take a look at it. So we have the 21 swinging in at around $42,000. How about the 10? Oh, what do you know? Right? So we have the 10, guys, that has now climbed up to that level that I'd smacked out for you on the midway point right there. So we could very well see price come down to test that 10 SMA. It's only honestly once we start losing the 10 SMA will I be anticipating a move to the 21.
That's fair.
Right?
So let's go ahead and talk about targets and move on to Ethereum.
Yeah. So what are your upside targets, Sean?
I have no upside targets because I'm trend trading this. We do have resistance over here, so I'm keeping an eye on that. But if there were any targets, it's the same story. We are at the target, right? Yeah. If we clear this level, 52,000 is a level we can look for next. If you do get rejected over here, we could be looking towards around 40,000 to around 42,000 is the entire zone that could catch a bid. But I'd be expecting at the very least for 40,000 to catch a bid because it is monthly support as well. Yeah, so you're looking at, so Sean is essentially looking at this horizontal line that I've drawn out for you right here. Okay, that's at around $40,500. Okay, and I think you're playing a range, right? 21 EMA going all the way down to 40.5K. The zone is right, so where that's a buy zone for a potential higher low. All right, just to draw that one out for you guys. That's it right here. Alrighty, I agree with that. I think that's going to be a good sort of bid to catch for anyone right now. Upside targets for me, guys. I'm still playing the ranges for as long as Bitcoin lives underneath this green box territory. I will only be gunning for the ranges. Period. Done. If it's once we start getting up over the green box territory, will I really start looking for those trend trades to the upside? Because at that point, I think that the macro is going to start looking. It's going to start tilting bullish. That bullish structure which we had lost back in May. Okay, so I'll be gunning for that. If we start clearing the green box territory, the next major region of contention, in my opinion, is only going to come in here at around $56,000, which, by the way, was also the measured move for the cup and handle, right? That massive, beautiful cup and handle that we had highlighted out for you just very, very quickly. Just once again, it was this right here. Allow me to just do that, and that's it. And that's your cup and handle. Okay, the measure move for that comes in at around $56,000 to $57,000.
So yeah, these are our immediate targets for Bitcoin. Sean, are you ready to get into Ethereum?
Yep, let's do it.
Cool beans. Now guys, remember, if you want us to cover any of the altcoins that you are looking at, take this time to get down to the comments section and tell us which altcoin you want us to cover. The popular vote, of course, wins. So here we are, Ethereum USD. ETHUSD on Coinbase. Let's do Coinbase. Okay, look at that chart. Those, wow, what was that? That was 20 days of just green consecutive candles. We just had one right there, and now Ethereum, yeah, on the 2-day time frame has already taken out the high. How about the daily? How do we close the daily? Wow, like it doesn't get neater than this, right? What are your thoughts on it, Ethereum, Sean? Just right off the bat.
Again, keep an eye on the weekly time frame. We are at a critical juncture over here. We did have a great daily candle close, but again, the weekly can kind of undo all of it if we do close the Saturday. Kind of ugly, but just can't not be bullish on this. We took out the neckline right over here. As soon as that happened, that was pretty much a long trade towards the upside, at the very least, to this red horizontal that you have over here, Krisha, your midpoint. Once we start closing a daily candle above that midpoint of the zone over here between $4,000 and 2,700, I'll be looking for 4,000 to get tested one more time. If we even take out these highs over here at around 4,224 with a single tick, at that point, any higher low I'll be gunning for as another bid opportunity to add to your long-term spot trades at the very least. Yes, those are some high numbers to be looking for spot trades on Ethereum, but easy to manage that risk.
Yeah, how about the dynamic? Let's go ahead and put on the mango dynamic on the weekly. But beautiful, guys, so beautiful. So Cardano, the dynamic is green.
Have been really easy to trade on the dynamic, and this has been the story throughout the bull market. And again, it was really hard to get bearish on Cardano and Ethereum until we lost that weekly dynamic. You just had to play your TA, right? If you lost the dynamic, you could have been looking for that for the downside, but clearly that accumulation consolidation zone has been set in stone, right? The consolidation zone now is clearly an accumulation. Like, you can look back and say, hey, that was accumulation.
Yeah.
Hey, at the very least, now you can look for a lower high on a trend structural basis.
Right. So, and yeah, Sean is right in that regard, because guys, on the weekly time frame, just notice the entire structure for Ethereum right now. If I just clear everything out, you'll notice that the last low only came in this juncture right here. If I have to look at the wick low, that's at $1,718. Okay, so Ethereum has a lot of buffer room to play with before we can actually lose that low. Okay, so we could very well come down to put in a higher low and the structure would still be intact. And that's essentially what we want to see from good ebb and flow of price action, especially if it's going to set in that macro trend. But getting back on over to that dynamic, I want you guys to notice how the tempo has now gone off, telling us that the bullish momentum on Ethereum is picking up. But so far, I do believe that we are on, it's resistance here at the midpoint, 3,300. However, with one data point, I'm not going to give it that much importance, right? But once again, guys, Ethereum also does extremely well off of its ranges. So far, I think the primary range on the weekly for Ethereum, believe it or not, the next major target comes in here at around the highs for very close to $4,000. And we could very well see that move to the upside. So I'll be keeping my eyes peeled on the midpoint, but even then I'll be looking at how price reacts off the midpoint on the lower time frames, like your daily and your 2-day time frame. We start living over that once again, I'm saying further up we go, it could very well be another sort of volatile push to the upside. I think that this entire zone, if you just look at historic price action, Sean, I think it's been a volatile zone for Ethereum in the past. So I will not be expecting the bulls to spare us there either.
So as soon as we lost this zone over here, right, it wasn't looking the best. And if the bulls were to recover immediately at that point, they needed to break past the dynamic at around this $3,282 level at the time, right? Now, right after all of that bearish trend towards the downside, the dynamic had come down as well, all the way back down to around 2,224, right? So once we broke that towards the upside, that was your long ride over there. You could have bought the test of the dynamic, but after that trend continuation, after that upthrust that we did have, this zone over here, Krisha, is not to be neglected. So let's say, Krisha, you did not have your midpoint marked out, right? For those of you who are trading the dynamic purely, this zone over here, its importance, its historical importance at this juncture over here during this consolidation, right, is still important at this period, right? That's why I'm bringing this up over here, because what you need to do now, or what you could do rather, you don't need to do anything, is mark out that dynamic zone like this, right, as a zone of resistance. So I'd be looking for Ethereum to clear that zone towards the upside, and only then can we look for that trend continuation towards around 4,150-ish.
Right, so that is going to be, so speaking of targets, guys, that's going to be the next major target, okay, the one that Sean just gave you at $4,128 to $30. As far as downside targets are concerned, if we start seeing multiple rejections off of this region, only then will I really be expecting that next sort of move to the downside. We could see Ethereum start putting in those higher lows, okay, on some of the higher time frames. Now for that, let's actually you know what, I'm going to be looking at the dynamic as one major level, and I also, guys, I want you guys to notice how it is in line with that horizontal that we have drawn in from historic price action, okay, which comes in at around $2,700. So that's going to be the downside next major target. Yeah. Also, let's quickly go ahead and put on the Ichimoku cloud. It's
pretty much lining up with your levels perfectly.
Yeah. So and that's the best part, right? When you see that confluence,
exactly.
That just adds more strength to the level.
Yeah.
So keep your eyes peeled on these regions. As far as the cloud is concerned, for Ethereum, I'm currently on the 2-day time frame, by the way. Wow, Sean, we've cleared the Kijun and we're actually holding it as support. Notice that. Just look at that, right?
Nice.
So that's going to be the current squeeze zone that we're in. Yep. Okay, it's only once we really start losing the Kijun, which comes in at around 3,041. Will I be expecting another move to the downside, possibly coming down to the 10 SMA, which is swinging in at $2,800.
Yep.
Right, that's going to be that's pretty much your zone. But you know what, for Ethereum, I'll tell you my strategy here, keep it high level. I feel like those who are actually playing those higher time frames, they're getting rewarded the most right now. You are avoiding the chops on the chart. And this is the range that you want to be avoiding the chops on.
Exactly.
Right? Nice, thick, let's say, profitable ranges to be had here. Cool beans. So yeah, these are our immediate targets for Ethereum and Bitcoin. Sean, is there anything else that you want to add to this?
Nope, I think you covered it all.
Alrighty, now with this, guys, I hope you enjoyed this. If you did, do smash those likes because that helps out the channel tremendously. And hey, do not forget to tell us which altcoin you want us to cover in tomorrow's video. And with this, trade safely, trade stress-free, trade the mango way, trade the easy way. Ciao.
Ciao, guys.